Hi, I'm locked out of my account, and I think you guys are just replaying an old show or something.
I don't think that's possible. We can't do that.
Okay, well, does it say my channel's live?
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, we have a new friend.
That person is not me.
She looks exactly like you.
Weird.
Who is she?
Unexpected things happen to test us. It isn't safe.
What is it?
I've watched enough to guess who it'll choose. But I don't know what it is.
You stole my face, and now I'm going to get it back.
You stole my face, and now I'm going to get it back. Come on, let's keep playing. Come on, let's keep playing. Let's have some fun. Who is she?
All right, Fantastic Fest 2018. We love seeing the fun, crazy, weird movies, but we found one that we know that you're going to love, and it's called Cam, and we're honored today to be joined by the writer, director, and star of the film. You guys must have had so much fun unveiling this to the unsuspecting audience last night, right?
It's always a good time. It's fun to see people get through the opening scene and kind of be like, whoa. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's got to be fun for you because you watch the movie so many times, getting it ready for the public, and then finally when you get to show it to them, that's kind of the big payoff, right?
Yeah, it's really, really thrilling. And sometimes I forget how intense it is because, we have seen it so many times that I forget that, people are gasping or like looking at each other like, what was that? And I'm like, oh, right, it's terrifying. Oh, right. Like, it's an intense movie. Sometimes you forget. So.
Yeah, but it is terrifying too, and we kind of don't really see it coming. Kind of, a little bit with based on the subject or the way it starts out. We think it's going one way, and then oh wow, okay, here we are. Yeah. So that must have been exciting for you too, just as an actress to come onto something that's so rich.
Oh, yeah. I mean, every moment... when I'm watching the film now, I'm thinking about like, oh my God, that fake blood tasted so terrible. Like I'm thinking about all the weird, but it's cool to, it's definitely been rewarding to be a part of a project that has such an important message. I mean, for lack of a better term, but also that really keeps people, I think, on the edge of their seat from the very beginning. You're just kind of wondering how is this going to play out, and to hear the response has been like the most rewarding thing ever. Talking to that girl last night, oh my God. Anybody who's seen this movie who does cam or knows someone who does cam or is a sex worker in any form is really. Or anybody who has
It's
an
moving.
online presence.
We cried. We had a crying moment. A girl came up crying to us.
We were pumped. It was good.
It was really nice. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I mean, it's always nice to know that people are paying attention, that they like what you do. But when it means something to them and touches them like that, that's huge. That's great.
Make art, That's why you make it. People want to see their stories reflected. That's why representation in every way, shape, and form matters so deeply. Is that the responsibility of art in any medium is to hold a mirror up to society. And, this is a large part of society. There are many people who participate and watch cam. Yeah. And the fact that there's not really been any sort of film like this is, I'm glad that we did it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, and the idea for this, I guess, not to sound funny at all, but do you go and watch these things? Do you think about who's behind these or whatever? It's not something that all of us are familiar with.
Yeah. I worked as a cam girl, so yeah. So that's where a lot of it came from. But I think we all spent a lot of time watching other cam girls, not just cam girls, but also sex workers in general. We were constantly showing cuts to our friends to make sure that they were, feeling represented and feeling included. And I know, fun trivia, Danny actually cammed as well before directing. That was something we talked about that I felt like was important. We both felt was important for him to do.
Issa was a world famous cam girl. I could not get anybody to actually pay me money. I lack sexual charisma, but yeah, exactly. I had a couple of people who really wanted me to do some stuff for free, and then I was like, I don't know, because I was trying to figure out how to get somebody to actually. But it was unsafe. And this is not one night. This is multiple nights of just complete.
He committed. To his credit, he committed.
Complete failure. But I think there's something about trying that and feeling kind of exposed and vulnerable in that way, and then also trying to be a sexually gender performative version of myself and being like, I have no idea how to do this. but even just kind of the wheels turning and being like, how do I sit? How do I try to pose for the camera in a way that feels like masculine and hot? All of a sudden you're thinking about your gender and the way that you're performing your gender in a completely different way.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's something that I took away from it in terms of like just the way I was looking at myself and feeling about my own body and thinking about my own body. There is a disassociative quality to putting yourself online because you're very used to this tactile version of yourself, and we're so used to seeing images of people in movies or in television, but we kind of know that these are these performative versions of them. But the contrast with an online version of somebody is that it's real, and I think that that's what's so cool about Issa's approach to this story and this idea of a doppelganger and somebody who kind of gets their online identity stolen from them, and that online identity kind of runs away without them, is that, we think that the people who we engage with online are real, and yet that real person is so corruptible and fragile. Digital identity is fragile. I think if there's something we learned from like the last election or, and that I think that's going to only become more and more of an issue. And so I think that Issa was so smart in not only actualizing this very real fear that we have about who is my online persona, but she did it in a way that I think is extremely prescient about real technological issues that we're going to have to contend with in the near future.
Well, there's some amazing things on the internet. There's a lot of things to learn. There's a lot of good people out there, but there's a lot of really scary things. You must have seen some pretty odd things in your time.
Yeah, I mean, I think something that's really terrifying we were talking about was deep fake, which I don't know if you know what that is, but it's essentially a software where you can take any person. It's done often with celebrities. You can put their face on a porn performer's body. So essentially, you can make porn of Ariana Grande without Ariana Grande's consent, without it being her body, without her having any autonomy in that decision at all. And it's talking about this film being prescient. Gonna mess that one up. That's a big example for us of just how real this can go, and just how this technology really does already exist, and people are already exploiting it.
Deepfake, to clarify, deepfake came out 6 months into the post process of the movie. Like, we kind of felt like prophets a little bit.
Yeah, we're like, we knew it. Yeah.
We're ahead of the curve. But it also sounds like a kind of pizza to me. It's like deep fake.
Extra pepperoni.
And every time you say it, I get hungry.
Yeah.
They probably have one on the special Fantastic Fest menu.
That'd be a great menu item.
Well, and were you nervous about performing some of these things or sort of reenacting some of the things that you had seen?
I mean, truly about this film, after I'd read the script, the thing that frightened me the most was like actually performing 4 different characters. Like, I was like, can I do that? I don't know if I actually have the bandwidth like to support these 4 things. I mean, I've done nudity in my career before, and this was the very first time that it didn't feel exploitative. If you can believe that, because anybody would think, oh, you're doing a film about cam, it's just gonna be boobs everywhere. And it's like, no, at every single turn, every moment of nudity was calculated. Every moment of it was like, calculated is the wrong word, because it was like we wanted it to feel natural. We wanted it to feel, and also just not inconsequential at certain beats. Just like, yeah, I'm naked, but there's also a lot of other things happening. Like, there's, that's so not what the story is about at that moment. And
that'd be a great tagline for the film.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm naked, but look at this. So yeah, I mean, I was in any character that I play, I want to play them with as much authenticity as possible. I want to do justice to my character. I want to do justice to their story and to anyone who connects with that kind of story, because I am not a cam girl, and I've never been. And anyone who has ever cammed or experienced any sort of, online thing, I want them to be able to connect with this character, because something Issa has said this weekend that has just like blown my mind, and I can't believe I didn't think about it in this way, is that if you replace Alice as a cam girl with Alice as a YouTube star or an Instagram model, it's the same story. It's that same idea, and that is why I feel like she is so relatable.